G'day legends, it's Jai that Aussie metal guy here. Before we get stuck into another great interview brought to you by Crannk.com and thatmetalstation.com, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and that way you can keep up to date with all the best music and interviews from all over the world. Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crannk.com and with thatmetalstation.com. Tonight, wherever you are in the bloody world, I'm having a chat with Gabriel of Antimozdebeast, whose latest album, EP, whatever you want to call it, it's bloody unreal. Mother Earth comes out 3rd of June. I did come across you through the Ritual EP, man. It's I'm going to let you explain the sound. How would you explain your sound to people, Gabriel?
How would I explain my? I'd say it's a hint of industrial. It's got electronic elements in it. It's even got folk elements in it. It's definitely heavy, you know. I would say that it balances between industrial rock and experimental metal.
Yep.
You know?
So how did this project start for you, Gabriel? Where did this kind of all come from? Because I noticed like it's been the last couple of years you've been quite active with Antimozdebeast. So I would like to know kind of where this project all began from.
This began in 2019 when I moved to Florida. I'm originally from New York, Long Island, New York. And basically, just to tell you, like, I didn't really know much about the music industry. I was always a musician since I was young, but I didn't know much about the music industry. So the reason you see so many releases from me is because I wouldn't promote it. I just when it was complete, release. That's it. I just hit a button and release and expect people to hear it, expect people to like it. You know what I mean? But I didn't know you have to fight to be heard in this industry. You really do. So that's basically how it happened. But it started in 2019. Just as a solo artist, because I've been in so many groups and they just fall apart. People have arguments and bicker with each other and argue. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this myself on my own.
Yeah, it is a ruthless game, the music industry at times. And like you said, you've got to fight to be heard, especially when you're starting a new project and a new band. It's like, how the hell do I get my music to the ears that I want to reach?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does become like that as well. Tell me a little bit about your history, Gabriel. How did you first get into music? What was the first instrument you picked up, dude?
Okay, so the first instrument I picked up, I was 8 years old. My my cousin gave me a bass, and this bass was too big for me. It was like this, and I was 8. So what I did is I took a handsaw and I sawed half of the bass body off so it could fit me. And basically, I fucked all the electronics up on that one, but that's when I picked up an instrument when I was that young. I was never taught, you know. I was self-taught since then, and I'm pretty sure I'm doing a good job with being self-taught.
He's like, I'm gonna MacGyver this shit, that's for sure. so how did you get into? When did you pick up all these other instruments? Because with this project, it is the solo brainchild from you. This is all coming from you as well. Tell me about the other instruments that you're playing with this, and tell me a little bit about that side of things as well, dude.
Yeah, well, I'm really, like, if you visit my YouTube, it might surprise you about my guitar skills, because I don't implement really guitar solos in Antimozdebeast, but I can solo on guitar, and I don't implement blues, but I'm a really good blues musician as well. So I've always, since that age, my brother has really been the one that has taught me how to play an instrument. He's always, my older brother, he picked up an instrument. What do? I pick up an instrument because I'm his younger brother, you know? So he was always an influence for me, and he taught me basic chord structures and some scales, and I grew up and I ventured off on my own.
So what was it like making that first release? Was that first release the Political Beast, the Beast of War and the Antichrist? Was that the actual first release for you? Yeah, what was it like making that one, man?
Okay, so basically I just wanted to explain and expose not only the individual in society, but society as a whole. And the reason it's called the reason it's called the Political Beast, the Beast of War, and the Antichrist, as well as the reason my project is called Antimozdebeast, is basically because my mother was a nun, and I was born on June 6th. So when I was in adolescent, I'd be like, "All right, I'm a messenger of evil. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be known as some sort of like I don't know, ideal or idol I don't know, man. I was a teenager, bro.
So should have called me Damien or something, mum.
Exactly. But that's where that came from. Basically, I was just really not letting go, but trying to explain what I went through with that going on in my head as a teenager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that I'm an adult, that's all gone. But yeah.
Yeah, so many albums through, and I noticed with the industrial sound and the noise, it leads a lot to the listener, but also you're trying to tell, I believe, a story through soundscapes as well. So, what's
Yeah.
it like making these EPs, these albums, sitting back? Do you have a story? Tell me a little bit about your songwriting process. Do you have a story in your mind before you start making the music, or do you make the music and then go, man, this kind of has that feeling to this? Tell me a little bit about that process for you, mate.
Well, I've always had good penmanship since I was young. And today, like, I don't know if you were planning to talk about this, but on Bandcamp, I'm gonna release merchandise that's 7 different 100 pages of my poetry and writing.
Nice.
7 different, yeah, like
Awesome,
7
dude.
different notebooks of that. And basically, I write, and I write a lot. I would say I write more than I play music, actually. So when it comes to the stories and what I'm saying on record, it's basically it's retrieved from a poem or an idea, actually, of what I'm writing, like a concept of what I'm writing. And I try to tell the story through my music as well as through the lyrics.
Yep.
To kind of give the listener introspect into, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so with the latest album being Mother Earth, can you tell me a little bit about some of the themes and influences that kind of inspired you with the making of this album?
Okay, so Mother Earth, on the other hand, was like, I want all my albums, all of them together, to tell a story as well. Kind of like an ongoing series.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And on Mother Earth, I think that was the next step in the creation of the storytelling that I tell with all my albums.
Yep.
I don't stray too far from the meaning of my albums with each album, but each album sounds a bit different than the last. So with Mother Earth, I tried to bring all those ideas I had from the previous albums together into an explanatory, meaning.
Yep.
Mother Earth deals with a lot of the questions that we ask ourselves every day, but don't have the time to focus on.
Yep. Yeah, it has that arc to it as well. Tell me a little bit about that, because I listen to your music, man, and like at times, like I've listened to it at a few different moods. It's like one of those you listen to some albums, and depending on kind of what mood or what you're feeling, you can kind of get these different emotions of it. The other day I was kind of a little bit stressed and I was listening to it, and I had this anxiety, kind of created this anxiety to me. And the other day and then another day I listened to it and I'm like, man, you just picked up these different notes to it, and I just kind of got lost into the musical soundscape of it all as well.
Yeah.
Is that something you're trying to achieve there with your music, trying to hit these different emotions with people, or what's
what I'm doing is inviting the listener into my psyche.
Yep.
And some, like, I know my mind is not a quiet place. It's filled with questions and ideas and pain.
Yep.
So I'm trying to invite the listener into my psyche, as well as trying to help them understand that the questions that we do face every day don't have to be answered, but can be entertained.
Yep.
Yeah,
and the bulk majority of us also all have these questions as well, and we've also got these minds that kind of work overboard and are really overactive at time. And I suppose when it came to you with your poetry and that, I suppose, as you're saying, that was something that you were more of a penmanship and a writer and a poet to begin with. So was this kind of project a need to kind of express yourself and express your poetry through another medium as well?
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. I've always loved music. Music is I would say my second love. Writing's my first love, but music is my second love. And sometimes music means more than anything. You should know that too.
Yeah, I do.
And when it came to my albums, like in the beginning, it's not on Bandcamp, but there's a single I did release called ICRI.
Yep.
It's got a very black metal organ. If you look,
Nice.
if you search for it on Spotify or Apple Music or iTunes or whatever, I'm gonna post it on Bandcamp soon. But
Yeah.
it's got this black metal organ to it, and basically it's like an introduction as to what is Antimozdebeast. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
there's no electronics of what you hear for the rest of the albums, but it discusses like religion in the sense that we haven't woken up to the reality of what religion and spirituality truly means. You know, we live behind closed doors. We influence with money and politics.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't actually understand what it means to be faithful. I'm not saying I believe in a god or anything like that, but I'm saying the ideals that we live by are not being lived by properly.
Yep. And you're able to tackle these questions through this medium as well, and have the listener questioning these things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it? You've been so busy the last couple of years, man. What's it like making these albums? How long does it take you to make these EPs? And has it been good for you to kind of dive into the music and to the art, considering all the bullshit that's been happening around the world at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's another thing because of COVID, no one's touring.
Yeah.
And I started in 2019 as Antimozdebeast, which was really at the pinnacle at the start of COVID. So I've had as much time as I needed to create albums. The thing is, I have 2 full lengths, so this is gonna be my third full length album. The rest are EPs, which I mean I know they're numerous, but I do apply the time to them to kind of explain what's really going on, not just in my mind but in the world at the time, and I hope they have longevity in the future.
Yeah.
It's not just about COVID and disease and religion and society. It's more like I hope that the message stands for a while.
Yeah, well, I dare say religion and society were going to be having this bullshit with that for quite a number of years. So I can see this having quite a fair bit of longevity. And as you mentioned, Bandcamp, everyone can head over there and check out all the releases. You did mention that you had that other one up on Spotify and iTunes, but you're putting it on Bandcamp because, like, man, I'm a big fan of Bandcamp. For some reason, I kind of avoid. Like, I listen to Spotify like the rest of them, man. Like, every now and then I'll chuck something on. It's the only place I can bloody listen to something sometimes. So I'll put it on. But for me, going over and buying albums, and especially the mediums like Bandcamp, that out of all of them, they're the better medium supporting the artist. You know what I mean? The bulk majority, you buy some stuff off of Bandcamp, most of your money is going to that artist. You know what I mean? Where you jump over to Bandcamp or even Spotify, if you're only streaming on Spotify, it's like I'd have to kick my own ass if I was like, dude, the support for the way the music scene is. How do you feel about all of that, man? As you're saying, it's tough to kind of make this impact, but the way the fucking music scene is at the moment, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, I would have to agree with you. I think Bandcamp, you're going to find quality because quality of musicians as opposed to Spotify or iTunes. Because you see the charts of Bandcamp and you see the charts of iTunes and you come to the realization, oh my God, what are these fucking people listening to? Yeah. But on Bandcamp, there's quality musicians and musicians that give everything they have into their music, and it's fucking incredible.
Yeah, and I don't want to give Apple or fucking Spotify one single motherfucking dollar because I don't know, I feel bad. Like when sometimes I've got to go buy music, and if I have to go Apple 99% of the time, I just won't worry about it. I'm like, fuck you, Apple. And it's nothing to do with the band. I just don't like those big multinational assholes that just live off of fucking leeching off of the music industry and the scene and aren't doing a great deal to support it. Like you said, some of those top 10s over at iTunes and fucking that don't really give a good snapshot of the scene and the talent and the quality, especially we have in the metal scene. It's unreal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, the way it is.
Yeah. So it comes out 3rd of June there, Gabriel. As we mentioned, Bandcamp's the best place to support. Is there anywhere out of the links that you want to shout out? YouTube. You also do some cooking, dude. I noticed
I
noticed the cooking thing. I'm like, man, I actually watched that. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to give that a bell.
I'm brutally delicious. No, I got no other links. Just like check out my Twitter, at MozDeAnti. and you're gonna find a link tree with all the links you need to find where I am.
Awesome. Gabriel, this has been an absolute pleasure, man, getting to chat with you, find out a little bit more about Antimozdebeast. Comes out 3rd of June, Mother Earth. Everyone get behind it, go support it, jump over to Bandcamp, buy some albums, support your scene. Gabriel, do you have any last words, shout outs, or thank yous you'd like to add in there, my friend?
No, just thank you, and thank my fans and my followers for always supporting me. You know, I got some good support. It might not be as grand as some other bands, but you know, it's strong. It's a strong support. So I appreciate everyone listening and supporting me in my music.
The underground scene rules, brother. You take it easy, my friend. Thank you.
You too,
Cheers,
bro.
mate.